Okay, so now we need to create our cut list from our original model, right? So we have our model from our part studio here. So this is where we need to include every piece we're going to cut. We just need to include one um, front view, right, or top-down view of whatever piece it is. So essentially, it's going to be right. Think of it as how you would lay out your pieces on a blank piece of wood, right? So we need to lay out each piece, right, and then if you look at the cut list here, it identifies the item, the size, and the quantity, right? So the front and back, 5 inches by 2 inches, 3/8 thick, and we need two of them, right? So you can see I need two of everything except the bottom, and then five of the coasters. Right? So all these are all the pieces I need to make um, this here. Okay, so to do this, we have a part studio, and it's going to be done the same way as before. I'm going to click the plus button here, and click Create Drawing. We should be able to fit all this onto a size A template. So if you click Custom Template, size A, um, do not include the border, do not include the title block. We will add one, um, but don't worry about that right now. Hit OK. The difference between this one and the other drawing is we're going to insert views of each individual shape. So the first thing we'll do is we will go to our insert button up here on the left, insert view, and we're going to pull these from the Part Studio One. So this is where it's important to label your pieces, right? So I'm going to label the front, the bottom, the side, and then one of the coasters. So I'll start with the front. So I have the front here, and what view do I want to show? Well, I kind of have to refer back to my design here. I want to show this front view of the front piece. So I'm back over here. I'm going to make these, I want these to be one-to-one. So if they don't all fit on one page, we'll have to make a larger template. So what I'll do is it's the front piece, one-to-one, front view, and I drop that here. Great. Once that's in place, I hit escape. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back, insert another view. I want to click the insert button here because I'm going to change the part. So I'm going to go back to Part Studio 1. I want to insert one of the sides. So I'm going to scroll down until I find the side. Now, I don't want to show the side. I don't want to show the front view of the side, right? If you look at the orientation of the model, I want to show this face here. Right? So that would actually be the left side, right? So we want to make sure we're showing that. So if I go back here, I'm going to change my view orientation to left, and yours might be different depending on how you drew your model. So I'll place this here. So I have my front, my side, and I need to insert the bottom. So same process, go to insert view, insert, I'm going to find the bottom here. Now I want to insert the top view of the bottom, right? So I'm going to go to view orientation up here and click top view. So I have my front, my side, my bottom, and I have one more piece, and that will be the coaster. So I'll find coaster and drop that into place. So this is great. This is good enough to laser. If we want to laser these templates, we can export these as a specific file, a DXF, which the laser could read. What if I wasn't going to laser this and I was going to print this or use this as a reference? We need to remember which is which, right? So we can use the text tool. It's this little A up here for note. If I click this, I can just make a text box here and just type in front, back, and label my pieces, right? And I can adjust the font here as well. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? I can double click, It's not super user-friendly. Most CAD softwares, their text is not, but it works for what we need it to do. So I have the front and back here. And what I'm going to do is I could copy and paste these and just edit those. Um, but I'll show you again. I click the A, click here. I'm going to change the size to 0.2, and I'm going to write side or sides. Do the same here. This is just a reference, so we know what it is. And then I'll poster here. Great. So here is our front, side, bottom, back. Now, we already have our dimensions on our orthographic drawing. So what we need to do now is create that cut list, right? So if you look at my example here, we need to create this table here, right? That tells us exactly what we need to cut. So the item, the size, the quantity, and I will go through that here. So we'll go back to our drawing where we can insert a table. So if you're up here on the top toolbar, it looks like a table, right? A little grid system. If you click this, you can determine how many rows you're going to need. Now, looking at the last example I made, yours, depending on your piece, you might need more or less, but we know we're going to need 3 item size quantity, and mine requires 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 across, 5 down. So we'll do 3 rows, 3 columns, 4 rows, and it kind of gives you the preview. And I will just drop that there and hit the green check mark. So what I'll do is, what's great about this is I can stretch this out. I can move it. And I can stretch it out as needed depending on how big or small I want my table to be. You want to make it easy to read. And from here, I can write the part. And you can just double click each dimension, each box, I'm sorry. Quantity or, right. So I'll zoom in so we can see this. So I'm going to have to add, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4. So what I'll have to do is add another row. If you need to add another row, what you can do is click in these symbols here. It allows you to either insert row below, insert column. You kind of have to hover over and learn how these work. You can also edit multiple at once. So part, we'll do the front and back. So I'm just going to start by typing in all the parts. So front, back. I'm just going to go down here, double click, side, bottom, poster, and then the size of these. This is where you might have to refer back to your other drawing. You can use the dimension. We're not going to include dimensions in here, but you can use the dimension tool as a quick reference if you want to check the size of something. There's another tool in here if you don't feel like going back and forth to your model or to your other drawings. Down here, there's a little tape measure called the measure tool. If I click this, I can reference, I can just click the line and it will tell me over here the length of that line. And I can also go from point to point. So while I'm still in the measure tool, I can just click on the specific point. So I click the measure tool again, and I can click from point to point, and it will tell me the length or width. It will not tell you the thickness because I don't know the thickness from this view, but we know that all these are 3/8 of an inch. Again, the other workaround to that is just going back to your orthographic drawing or your model to reference these. Okay, so use these to reference your um, so I'll go back to my drawing. I'm just going to use the measure tool. I know the thickness on all these, and we do it's length times width times height. So I'll do the front. That's 5 inches. By 2, so I can go back here and do 5 inch by 2 inch by 3/8. Great, hit the green check mark, and we know we need 2 of those. The sides, again, I can use the measure tool to check 2.5 by 2 inches, and we know it's 3/8, so I can do 2.5 inches by 2 inches by 3/8, right? And I know I need 2 of those. Now, you can go through and you'll do that for your entire thing, right? For all your parts, right? I can go and I'll check the bottom, add the size here, add the quantity, and so on, and you will have to retitle this drawing and rename this as my cut list, and you will have everything you need to build this, right? Everything required for this project. So I have my part studio in my model completed, just as an overview before I wrap this video up. So I have my part studio in here. I have my orthographic multi-view drawing of the box, and I have my cut list, right? That shows my parts, the item, the size, and the quantity.